Hello YouTube world, it's Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. This is part 4 of our Art of Camouflage video series. Camouflage is as much a psychological act as it is a physical act. Okay, you're trying to fool the other person's mind, their brain, into thinking you are something you are not. In other words, you're trying to make their brain, when they look at you, not see a human, but see whatever else is in your background, your surroundings. Okay, so it's a psychological exercise as much as a physical exercise. Color contrast, shapes, smells, sound, all this will give you away or help you blend in depending on the circumstances and situation. Okay, today I've got about 5, 6, 7 different types of camouflage patterns laid around in my yard, and we're going to pan around with the camera very slowly before I go back and zoom in on each one to show you where it's at. Most of the different patterns are not hidden. We have hats, we have pants, we have jackets, we have shirts, we have gloves, we have just camouflage material that is used for making blinds. Have a backpack, vest, all types of different things laid out in the yard. It's quite a few items. And once I get through with a very slow pan of the entire yard with the camera zoomed out as far as it'll go, then I'll zoom in on each one in turn and then zoom back out so in relation to the yard you can see where it's hidden, and then we'll go each in turn we'll zoom into each one, and if I have to I'll reposition the camera so I can get a good shot of each one. So here we go. We're going to do the slow zoom or the slow pan to start with. Let me get my camera set up here a little bit, loosen everything up, and we're going to start right here in the center of the yard. Going to pan left. Just slowly pan around. You just have to look and see if you can spot the different types of camouflage. We have everything from the desert camouflage, woodland pattern, Marine Corps woodland pattern, and on and on and on. So you'll just have to look around as I'm panning the camera and see what you can see. There's no real attempt to put the individual items behind or hide it in any way. It's pretty much just laying out in the open. So as I'm panning, maybe you can see it and spot it. I'm sorry my tripod isn't better. I've got everything loosened up and it's still making that little racket, sticking a little bit. Like I said, the art of camouflage is as much psychological as it is physical. It's got more to do with just simply having a particular color of camouflage scheme on. You know, if you don't think about what you're doing, you know, where you're standing or where you're laying, your camouflage pattern will give you away versus concealing you. There is an attempt by the U.S. military, and I'm quite sure all of NATO, to procure a camouflage pattern that will work in any environment except for maybe snow. You know, you'll definitely have to have that because it's all white. Okay, now we've done our slow pan. We're going to zoom in on the first camouflage pattern we have, and it is called Advantage. Unfortunately, and this is an apology to the manufacturer, the only one I have is very faded out. Okay, that's a pair of coveralls, and it's very faded out, so it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's just laying on top of the leaves right there. And to be fair to the manufacturer or anyone who uses it, that one is very faded. Bought it used, or my mother-in-law person bought it used for us and gave it to us, and I probably need to use some of my fabric markers to go back and to darken it, and because it basically is so darn wore out that the threads are shining through. Okay, that's the first type of camouflage. Now we'll move on to the second type of camouflage. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Realtree. That is a camouflage burlap square, basically, or a rectangle. Okay, it's just made to make duck blinds or you know, a hunting blind of some type, or you can use it, you can cut it up and shred the pea whacking out of it and use it to make a ghillie suit. It's just laying up on our fence. Okay, we're going to zoom back out, and we're going to zoom in on the second type of camouflage. Okay, and you can see it there. It's also hanging on the fence, and it is also used for making duck blinds. And it is made by Allen. It's Omnitex 3D blind fabric and Mossy Oak breakup, the infinity version of their breakup pattern. Okay, and from a distance it looks like a tree, not the stump but the trunk of a tree. Okay, all right, now on to the next pattern. Now this pattern here is what I manufactured the other day to conceal my shotgun shell belt. Okay, I made a sleeve out of cardboard and some serious bad duct tape, and I do believe that is also considered Realtree, and it's just laying on top of the ground right at the base of that little bush of hers, and from a distance it blends in really well. You wouldn't know what you're looking at. Okay, you just simply wouldn't know what it is, especially if you've never seen a sleeve like that on a belt. But you can see that you don't see the shotgun shell. Well, maybe you can see one right there. Yes, you can. Okay, two of them right there. So I haven't finished making it all the way. It was just for demonstration purposes mainly. But you can see those two shells. But the rest of it, it just sort of blends right in, especially when you zoom back out. Okay, onward and upward. The next type of camouflage is Marine Corps jungle or woodland pattern camouflage. This is not the real deal. This is an aftermarket backpack. This is my backpack, and to the right of the backpack that is attached to the backpack is a waterproof cover for a sleeping bag. It's a duffel bag type of cover, and it is strapped to the backpack. Okay, and it's just sitting right out in the open, you know, a little bit concealed by the bush, but not really. Okay, we'll zoom back out. We'll go on to the next type of camouflage pattern, which is the Army's and Marine Corps' old BDU jacket. And I'm actually having trouble finding it in the viewfinder, and I'm looking too far to the right. Okay, here we are. There it is. Now, it is laying on top of one of Camo's mole chasers. It's a uses sonic noises and vibrations to try to keep the moles out of the flower garden, and that one there works. The other one that she had got wet from a flood we had, and it ruined it, and so the moles are about to take over this year. But that is the standard BDU woodland pattern that they used before they came out with the digital camouflage patterns. It's just laying right out there. All right, we're going to zoom back out. I want to go to another type of woodland camouflage that is a civilian aftermarket camouflage. Let me see if I can get my camera centered up. And there it is. You can see it between the arms of the ladder, right behind that bush. You know, but you can still see it pretty good until you zoom out a little bit, and it just blends and fades right into the background. Okay. Now, the next type of camouflage is desert camouflage. It is U.S. military issue. It's the real deal. It's not a civilian variant. It is the real deal, and it is right there between the flower pot and the side of the pool, right behind the floats there. And that really blends in pretty darn good. Okay, see that there? We'll zoom all the way back out and go on, and the next pattern is also desert camouflage. Let's see if I can get it centered up. It's going to be a little harder to see it because where it's at, but there it is. That could be a soldier just leaning up against the back of the steps up beside the our little building. But there it is in the center of the screen. All right, let's back out. We got one more camouflage pattern in that immediate vicinity. And this here is an abomination. Someone actually told me one time this was camouflage. That is not camouflage. I can see it here with my naked eye just as plain as day. But it's blue, white, and black in a lighter blue color. It's just a hat that a friend of mine gave to me. That's not camouflage, people. I'm here to tell you. It may work maybe in an environment where there's glaciers that have blue in them, but I doubt it would work anywhere else. It'd stick out like a sore thumb against white snow. Maybe in the urban environment, maybe it would work. I do know this from exercises that her son, who is in the National Guard, has been on. He says in a city environment that the desert camouflage is awesome. That it'll just blend right in. As you can see right there, it does a pretty good job. And you can also see right there against the pool. Okay, it just blends right in. Now, a lot of it has to do also with the shape. You know, it's not a humanoid shape, so that has a lot to do with it. Okay, one more example of desert camouflage. U.S. Army digital pattern desert camouflage right there. That's a pair of pants, and it's just laying on the corner of that table. And that table has got some tin that I took off the roof when I was repairing it, and that's also where I painted my shotgun at the other day, but that was on top of it. But you can see it right there. Okay, next is a very obvious item, and that is my combat vest. Okay, with the magazine pouches and all that type of stuff. And in the right lower hand corner of that mass there, you can see the scabbard, the Kydex scabbard for my K-bar combat knife. And just off center in the middle there at the very bottom is the holster for my handgun, my 1911. But that one there sticks out like a sore thumb at where it's sitting at. And the design of it anyway, it's got a lot of straight, broad edges on it that just really sticks out like a sore thumb. Now in this picture here, if I can ever get the camera to sit straight, there's a hat and two gloves. I know where they're at, so it's easy for me to spot, and it's probably easy because I'm zoomed in enough. It's probably easy for you to see it, but there's the two gloves and the hat right there. And if I remember correctly, all three items are Realtree. They blend in really, really well with their background, even though they're just laying right on top of it, right out in the open. I mean, if you were not looking for that, you would not have even seen it. It just blends right in. Okay. Now we're going to finish this video up, and we'll do another video a different way. Like I said, this is a camouflage. Art of Camouflage is as much psychological as it is physical. Okay, the items that I represented here today none of them are in a humanoid shape. Okay, your eye, your brain looks for the familiar. It looks for patterns. Okay, patterns, you know, colors, shapes, and all this type of stuff. But in a combat environment, you're looking for another human being. Okay, the enemy who has a uniform that looks a certain way. All right, one of the great weaknesses of the U.S. military is no one preaches personal camouflage with local vegetation. Okay, and using your surrounding, your environment to cover you, to conceal you, and to trick the other guy's mind, his brain, into seeing something that other than you. Okay, if you backlight yourself, there's going to be, you know, you're going to have the outline of your body. You'll have the head, the shoulders, the arms, the trunk of the body, the midsection, the legs, and of course, you know, the legs, you can see each individual one. Okay, if you lay in such a way, crouch in such a way, use local vegetation to break up that outline, you can fool the mind's eye, the brain. Okay, that's the psychological point of camouflage. You're trying to become, or at least make your enemy or the animal you're stalking or whatever, see something other than a humanoid outline. Okay, a rock, a tree, the tree's trunk, bushes, dirt, rocks, whatever. You know, if you're in a city environment, junk, garbage laying in the street. you know. I've always wondered why in an urban environment, if you're a sniper, why don't you use paper, an old tire, anything like that to enhance. You know, you could be laying in the gutter in a lot of these streets in the world, and there's so much garbage and crap laying around, you know, that you could use as camouflage. You know, attach it to your gear, and you look just like a pile of garbage. Of course, you know, if you're doing it near the street, somebody might run over you thinking you're just a pile of garbage. We'll get into more of that in the next video. This is the end of part 4. This is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with Shade Tree Survivalist, signing off.